You know that moment when you generate attributes on a random bot builder, look at the results, think, this is gonna be amazing. I like it, I hope you like it, I'm super excited to make this build happen. And then look down at your junk and instantly regret everything? Big Bot Bash 3 rolled horny head, cannons for arms, stumps for legs, exposed body, and junkbot flavor. All of it out of my junk pile. Now here's the thing about building from trash. I don't start with a plan. I start with my hands on my junk. And my first question wasn't, how do I build this? It was, where is my horny head? Where is my big ass cannon? And God help me, what is the flavor of my junk? After a day with my hands deep in all of it, I start out with these. Mint bottles, doggy poop bag tubes, pens, and lip wands. My dream team for building this exposed body. I'm also aiming to enter it into the Cup challenge for the original mecha competition, which means it needs a cup-like container, a pen, and has to fit inside a 6-inch cube. Back to the build, once everything was cut, I wrapped thin paper around the lip wands to form joints and made them hard with CA glue. Then I brought in my new vibrating toy, a mini sander. Once the parts were prepped, I filled the holes and snuck in electrical wire as visions of motors and lights started taking over. I mapped out connection points for the limbs and head, but kept the body intentionally exposed. Bonus feature, the torso spins a full 360 degrees.
Feature unlocked.
Obsessed with my mini sander, I leveled up and got a mini table saw. These mint bottles stand no chance getting chopped into stumpy legs. Suddenly, I'm faster, sharper, and slightly more powerful than I should be. I also picked up a nail dust collector. Yes, for fingernails, but it said sawdust too. I love how it just sucks everything.
Suck.
Dust particles have no chance. I'll have everything in the description if you would like to check out all the tools I used in this project.
Features unlocked.
So, we have a problem. There's no way these stumpy legs can hold up a body. Solution, shove a doggy poop bag tube inside, add beads for weight, and lock it all in with CA glue and baking soda. Will it work? I highly doubt it, but that's a problem for future me. For the leg joints, I wrapped paper around a ballpoint pen, made it hard, drilled out space, and shoved another shaft into the hole to make a firm connection. The end result, extendable stumpy legs that spin a full 360 degrees.
Features unlocked.
Time to build the arm cannons. I wanted two very different blaster cannons powered by toy car motors, starting with hinge joints made from, say it with me now, doggy poop bag tubes and ballpoint pens. Cannon number 1, the dramatic long-range cannon. The idea, it charges up before firing. I soldered wires while my new fume extractor heroically inhaled the fumes, then forced some Lego Technic pieces onto the motor shaft after aggressively resizing their holes. I follow up by adding a barrel from a broken soldering iron and melt a hole into a furniture hole cover to connect it to the motor casing. You can literally see the fumes, and I love how the extractor sucks it.
Suck.
I put everything together and we're good to go. Cannon number 2, the chaotic younger sibling, an automatic chain blaster. I cracked open the motor, flipped it into a single axle setup, harvested extra parts like a greebly gremlin, and glued it back together. Another Lego piece got to loosen up its hole treatment, and this one fit perfectly. Test run, it spins insanely fast, like super fast. Future problem? Definitely. I added axles, slid on pen shafts, and just like that, cannon arms achieved. For head, I kept thinking of creating bull or rhino horns, but why not both? I rolled paper around a doggy poop bag tube, made it hard, slapped on a plastic thimble, and shaped it all with a mini sander like a responsible adult. The forehead came from some mysterious packaging plastic, which was awesome. And for the rhino horns, I cut up pen tips and just the tips and nestled them onto the snout. There's nothing like having shaft tips on your face. It's my first time using green stuff to blend everything together, and honestly, not bad. I didn't ruin it. This is also when I tested the very fast motor on the body. I will definitely need to fix that later. I say this now with full confidence, unaware of how much future me will suffer. For the bull horns, I mounted more pen tips using lip wand ends, drilled them into the head, glued it all up, and boom! Double horn action.
Feature unlocked.
Now this is where everything changed. I saw a $200 Warhammer Knight model at a local hobby shop and realized, well, I'm already halfway there with my junk. I wonder if this is junk envy.
I see your Schwartz is as big as mine.
I grabbed an orange Tic Tac bottle, which I eat like candy, and an applesauce cup to bulk up the torso. Then quickly spiraled into shoulder engineering. I chopped the top off the bottle, used popsicle sticks to connect more mint containers, and slapped on plastic Easter eggs as pauldrons. Peak innovation. I covered the top with more wood so I can drop in a tiny wooden crate later. Then I added bottle caps, experimented with sticking an egg on the front, and stepped back. Egg body, bull horns, rhino horns. This thing had energy, strong, stubborn, deeply inconvenient, cow energy. And just like that, it had a name.
Background unlocked.
And welcome to the secret cow level.
Moo, 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 moo.
To really sell the junkbot vibe, I built a crate for his back, secured right on top, so he's got somewhere to stash his junk. And that's it, that's the feature.
Feature unlocked.
The Bovinian is officially entering the Cup Challenge. 6 inches, 1 deadline, and I still have a cannon to finish. If you want to see how this ends, you already know what to do. Alright, time to fix my mistakes. That way too fast motor replaced with a lower RPM one, which meant cracking open a fresh casing and making it behave. EVA foam plus popsicle sticks equals surprisingly good engineering. I even screwed the Lego gear onto the shaft like I knew what I was doing. It worked. I celebrated accordingly. Then I bulked up the cannon with EVA foam and built a chunky heatsink using guitar picks from my very ambitious pandemic guitar phase. I continued filling out the details and it's looking great. Over on the long-range cannon, I turned on full detail mode. Foam, pen parts, mixer knobs, solder wire cables, solder. I still say solder a bunch of times. Solder wire cables, just layering on chaos until it looked right. The result? A glorious 6-inch blaster that works like a PPC from MechWarrior. Also, for no particular reason, I made the head hornier.
Features unlocked.
Now the other problem. Bigger body plus heavier cannons equals this man will not stand. So I worked to widen the footprint. Cut up a paint stirring stick and slapped on L1 and R1 buttons from a gamepad for bigger feet. Stability upgrade unlocked. Since I already went down on him, I went all in on leg details, just throwing pieces at it until it looked really cool. I worked my way up his hips, detailing him along the way, and then I took his hips and bent him over, stuck my glue nozzle up his pipes, shot in some CA glue with some spilling out, and quickly fed my bent rods in so they could look like wiring. I was satisfied. For the back, I kept experimenting with EVA foam and built a beautiful mosaic of absolutely nothing. The goal was to make it look like a last-minute add-on. I strapped it all together with zip ties connecting the back to the sides like some kind of mechanical afterthought. It fits perfectly. Now it's time to expose my body by melting a hole straight through his belly. It sounds awful, but it'll look awesome. I tested some green flexible filament inside to sell the idea that he got blasted by some kind of acid attack. I turned to green stuff to fill the gaps between the egg and the main body, primed the interior, but left a little window so that the green light could shine through. Then it was time to greeblify. Rivets and more everywhere. I probably used 1,000,000 rhinestones, just maybe. I ran a final test with the green light. Beautiful.
Dear God, it's beautiful.
I primed it black, and it was time to work on the base. I grabbed a scrap of particle board from packaging, cut it into a shape that fits a 6-inch cube, slathered on some Mod Podge, and dumped scenic dirt on top. Added more glue for stability, then primed it black. But wait, I forgot to drill holes for wiring. Once the wiring was routed, I painted in 3 layers: khaki green for the base, steel legion drab in the middle, and Xandri dust for highlights. Base complete. Time to move on to the fun stuff, painting the Bovinian himself. I started by dry brushing everything with metallic silver. This is only the 5th piece I've ever painted, but unlike past attempts, I'm starting to have a better understanding on how to control the outcome. I go down on its feet first. I use Flesh Terror's red contrast paint, which is easy to fix with Black Templar if I mess up. Wires got Thunderhawk blue, lightly darkened with Nuln oil. Cannon stayed the same with the black and silver with Nuln oil washes. The wraps got Wraithbone with some depth added in from the wash. On the back, Garagak's sewer. Horns, Warlock bronze transitioning into Psychorlax bronze. Quick tangent, I'm leaning into the Citadel painting system because of all the resources online and locally. As an example, I went to a local hobby store hunting for paint they didn't have in stock. Searching online, I discovered 3 different Warhammer shops within 20 minutes of me. I went to one of them and everyone was so nice. I even got a free hands-on mini painting tutorial and leveled up my dry brushing. So Sean, if you're watching, thank you. Back to the Bovinian. The acid hit areas got Wraithbone, then Tesseract Glow blended into striking Scorpion Green, shaded with Sarandras Green, and then darkened with Athonian Camoshade if needed. I installed gears inside. They got the same treatment, acidic glow all around.
Background unlocked.
The crate got a messy love letter in paint. Garagak sewer mixed with snakebite leather, slapped on wherever it felt right. For the netting, I dunked a cutie mandarin bag in brown acrylic. I know this is not going to work, but the Bovinian won't care. He'd use it anyway. While that dried, I assembled the robot, soldering the wires, soldering the wires, and then added some extra flair. Chains on the horns, chains on the back, because yes, everything is better with chains. Now this was a fun one, and it adds serious lore to the world of Aeonis. I prepped tiny glass bottles, trimmed a string of fairy lights down to 3, then encased each bulb in hot glue, and then painted them with Pilar Glacier, Doomfire Magenta, and Magos Purple. Installed under the netting, the lights shine through the glass like floating gemstones, or in Aeonis, essence cores. These cores give life and power to the Emberin, a race of small, living, magical robots from the painted forest. From a previous build, the character, Sparky the Tinkerer, has the ability to take out his essence core and use its power to restore memories. Other characters, like Puzzle the Capable or Ina the Enduring, have their essence core embedded inside their bodies. When an Emberin dies, both it and its core turn to dust that is then transferred to give life to a new living robot. It's an infinite cycle. But someone has figured out how to capture the essence core and use them. And the Bovinian has somehow collected 3 of them.
Background unlocked.
The Bovinian isn't a fan of farmers milking his cows, so naturally, he steals their milk. I filled tiny glass bottles with white dyed resin, made them hard, sanded them smooth, varnished them, and dusted them up to fit perfectly in the scene. Stealthy, messy, and very Bovinian.
Background unlocked.
It's now time to bring out his junk. Random gears, toy parts, chains, all painted with Garagak's sewer. Everything goes into his crate, carefully arranged to stay inside the 6-inch limit. More junk gets draped over the netting, the battery gets a crate cover with extras sprinkled on top, and the front of the base gets a milk crate, more gears, and busted crate bits. The final flourish, the all-important crotch tabard. Because yes, every hero or villain needs one. Before the glamour shots, we have to ask the burning question: who is attacking him? Emberin rivals? Angry farmers? Some random cave beast? Or did he accidentally steal something valuable thinking it was junk? Drop your theories in the comments. I might just weave them into his story. And now, here are the glamour shots. And that is the Bovinian. Horny head, cannons for arms, junk in his crate, but who's attacking him? Write your theories below. You're building this story with me. Subscribe for part 2. It's gonna get wild. See you in the next one.